Okay, it's still, this is part 2 of the first video I did for June 26th. Decided to talk about now, after 17 minutes, a little more than 15 minutes of the stuff I talked about in the previous tape. Let's talk about money. That seems to be really the subject that motivates this country. Matter of fact, I get sometimes some comments. Oh, I like your video from YouTube, and the people are trying to be helpful. You can get more views and make money by doing da-da-da and do this. Well, you people need to call the White House and complain to them. You need to hack their phones and complain to them, I've already explained it on my other videos. I have it written there on the video on how to hack the White House numbers, Dial the first 6 digits, which is the area code, and the 3 digits, 456 for the White House, and then dial any of the numbers from 0000 and 0001, 0002, 0003. Now you're going to get a lot of this phone has been disconnected or it doesn't work. Originally, during the Reagan administration, they say you have reached a non-working number at the White House. But after I finished hacking the phones back then and talking to, I talked to quite a few of the higher-ups on the phone at the White House at that time. That's before they made it policy, to change the policy because of me. They said, okay, when someone calls and they're not really connected to the White House and it's just a normal person from the country, you are not to talk to them. So they just hang up on you or whatever. But they can't hang up on their answer machines. So then, years later, I started leaving messages on their answer machines. So they definitely know who I am because of the voice imprint, So finally, the Secret Service, in 2 weeks before the BP oil disaster, this is not a coincidence. The fact that I'm the inventor of the spherical oil barge and that oil disaster took place, that's not a coincidence. You see, I know more about quantum physics, classical and mechanical physics, in the quantum world than they do. And even then, all of their fantastic, supposedly MIT graduated with honors physicists. They don't know what I know. But the physicists, if they really are intelligent, they do know that if they've listened to all my videos, they go, he's not dumb. We may have mapped the DNA, but if he's right, talking about me, I'm talking in their shoes. If Caesar's right, and he makes this statement, blanket statement, that none of us really know who the next mental giant's going to be, because it's ingrained in your DNA. So it's potluck, it's grab bag, it's Russian roulette. And that's what really scares them. They see this person who has been attacked, destroyed, taken advantage of, abused, all my young years stolen from me, and most of it happening here in Los Angeles. So Rodney King didn't get anywhere. He may have gotten beat up, but look at him. He was living in a nice big house and da-da-da-da this and da-da-da-da that. He made a lot of money off of him getting beat up. Besides the riots that took place. Became a news media curiosity. But see, not me. Same kind of things were done to me. False police reports, slashing of my tires, improperly towing my vehicles, towing and destroying and stealing, legally stealing all of my property that I'd worked for the last more than two and a half decades. So these are the people that need to stand trial in my court, in the court of His Majesty's the Emperor of the United States of Turtle Island. In my court, they're going to stand trial. Every last one of them, and every American citizen is going to stand trial. Because every one of you that spend that money with the name of God printed on it, if you believe in, whether you're a Christian or a Jew, you believe in God, you're blaspheming the name of God. You're breaking the one of the commandments, the first one. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not, second one, thou shalt not use my name in vain. Well, wouldn't you call it using His name in vain, or God, its name in vain, by taking money that says in God we trust, and coins as well, and spending it and using it through your exchange program of your monetary system? And that same money circulates and is used to kill, in the long run, used to kill innocent men, women, and children in the abusive, excessive, taking advantage of wars that you have. I call that more than taking its name in vain. I call it blasphemy and taking its name in vain. Makes you all hypocrites, liars, sinners of mortal sin. Not of, in Catholics' terms, not venial sin, but mortal sins. Worse than a felony. So, so here you all are, progressing in technology and living off the backs of poor people in third world countries and not really doing anything about it. Oh, I've heard newspaper reports and media reports about, Clinton goes to Africa and is helping people, the disadvantaged. And, I could have helped more than 2.5 decades ago when I introduced that oil tanker. I had all these ideas already. I had ideas on how no one will ever die in another airplane crash, ever again. And if somebody does, it will be a fluke accident. Had a way of stopping tornadoes. I can literally control the weather, but I can't do it without the help of, I won't say who I could do it without the help with, because then I start to give away. It doesn't take a lot of brains to figure out that I would need a special kind of help, and I'm not talking psychic or God or anything like that. I'm talking about something concrete involving physics, nothing else. And so you've been allowing people to die and go through terrible changes, hurts and agonies, because you don't understand me. Well, you're not supposed to understand me. That's what DNA is all about. Surprise. Surprise that, where did Gandhi come from? Surprise. Or Edison, or Tesla, or any of the giants that Faraday and all his experiments with electricity, or the physicists at the laboratory in CERN or in Fermi labs. It's not too hard to understand. There are things at work in this universe and on this planet that this planet should be picking people like me, and me picking people that I recognize are like me, my brethren as I call it, who have the same, they lean towards the same subject matters. We may not agree on everything. No one will ever agree on 100% of everything, but they lean towards the same subject matters and want to do something about it. These people that you elect into office, they don't want to do anything about it. Not really, because they're not qualified. They're underqualified. Whereas I, unfortunately, am overqualified. So we're 8 minutes into this recording, so let me get down to the brass tacks about this particular recording. So I get all these people, and they talk about, and you can make more money this way, and I stopped them. I said, no, don't comment to me. Go hack the stinking White House and the congressional phones and Congress people, the Senate, the White House, the Judicial Department. Hack the FBI phones. Tell them, hey, you have violated people's civil rights, and you never investigated. And not only did you not investigate, there are hundreds of arrests that would take place right here in Los Angeles if I was allowed to talk not only on the national level, but on the international level, because it would embarrass this country so much that you would have to do something about it. Because that's the kind of people you got in the office of mayor right now. That's the kind of people you have in building and safety. It's the kind of people you have in the police department. The kind of people you have in every one of these departments that personally violated my life. And for menial reasons, and I do say menial, and falsely prosecuted me. It was all false. I don't care if it was legitimate in court in front of a paid-for Bilderberg puppet judge, money puppet judge. They're all liars. So I intend to change all that. I mean for real. And right away, practically overnight. When I say practically overnight, I'll tell you this, within a month. Like a 30-day notice. So instead of, knocking me and all of this stuff, and talking the way, like I said, go hack them. Why don't all of you form a big coalition, huge coalition, like a John Doe club in the movie John Doe? Think of me as like John Doe. We form John Doe clubs throughout the whole country. No politicians allowed to join. And you start fundraising to help me kick these idiots out of office and kick the Bilderberg group in, most importantly, kick Rockefellers, the Bilderberg group, the DuPonts, kick all of their influence out of office. This isn't about accepting donations from them. This is about having so much money compared to them that you will finally be in control. You'll be ruling your own country. Stop being lazy. Stop being a hypocrite to your own religions of all things. Stop circulating the money with the name of God on it. And stop circulating the money in the causes of killing innocent men, women, and children in other countries, or impeding their lives, just like this country impeded my life and put me here on the street, on the concrete. So instead of saying you want to send, this is the way you can make money for yourself. You call friends, call neighbors, do like a chain letter phone thing, chain letter YouTube. You start doing YouTubes too. Tape some YouTube. Say, hey, we want to support Caesar. Heck with this crap. Heck with the electoral system. We're going to overthrow the United States of America, and we're going to install Caesar as the absolute ruler now. Now trust me, I make you this promise. If you do that, I guarantee I will re-implement the Constitution on the day of the takeover. I have to. Because it would be insane for any person to sit there and dismantle something that's already working. You can't rip it apart. But you can make changes in the right places. And Obama doesn't know those right places, even though he has the Brookings Institute people and the Rand corporations and all the so-called experts. Here in L.A., I'll give you a prime example of contradiction, and it's a Democrat. Vigorosa says, I'm going to hire, a couple of years ago, I'm going to hire somebody to entice big business back into Los Angeles. The reason big business left Los Angeles is because of building and safety's abuse on their laws to operate, on their way that they could operate. Not the business's rules and regulations on how they can operate. So once they set up their system and they're operating a certain way, and building safety comes in and says, you're going to get an $80,000 fine if you don't change it and do this. These people are out of control. I'm not the only one they've damaged. So the idiot, the mayor here, he goes and a Democrat, says, let's hire an expert to bring big business back. Well, your own city managers ran them out. He's a moron. And Tony Vigorosa is a moron, along with Obama and all these other people. They're all morons. They're inept. And if they do have anything good that they've done, it's unraveled by the evil that they do, or the evil that they neglect and pretend is not happening. Because that's what they did to me. I sent an email to the White House before my house was burnt at the corner of DeSoto and Hart in Canoga Park. I didn't. I sent an email, emergency email. The very same White House people told me, put emergency up top. They never answered. So I ended up continuing to hack their phones until April of 2010, 2 weeks before the BP oil disaster, when the Secret Service met me at Boulevard Burgers on Ventura Boulevard and said, if you make any more calls to the White House and hack these numbers again, we're going to figure out a way of arresting you. A threat. A threat from the very same Secret Service to a presidential candidate who was a candidate at that time. How do you like that? So then the Secret Service gets busted there in South America for their whore shopping. But in actual fact, I say this in one of my other videos, the media never published the possibility that those Secret Service agents were digging for information, besides digging into whores. But they were digging in for information to see if anybody was a possible threat to Obama when he goes there, so that his safety is of great concern. All presidents' safety is of great concern to the Secret Service. That story wasn't thrown out. And you know why? Because I mentioned it on YouTube. And of course, they buried that story, and they're going to continue to bury it. And even if they were to resurrect the story, they'd say, oh, he's just a nutcase running for president. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not at all what happened. We're the experts. We're the ones that tell you what's real, what's not, what's true, and what isn't. So why don't all you people go out there and you start gathering money in the hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars? If you collect enough money and we all pool it together, literally take over the country. If you have, isn't that how poker works? Rockefellers have a lot of money, billions and trillions of dollars. Once you have that much money, you can literally go on TV 24/7. You can pay whatever the media wants, and they'd have to have you on the air. And we could actually beat Obama and Romney and anybody else that's running. And then we could institute the real golden age of this country under my rule. I could reestablish the Senate the next day, the Congress, even the president and vice president. You can keep your crappy electoral system all you want, so long as I have rule over the presidency and the vice presidency. And I'm the commander-in-chief, not them. They don't have final say-so in the use of military objectives, because the military uses objectives that ends up killing innocent people. And that's not going to happen when I'm in charge at all, because I have secret plans which I divulged in my Vote Smart political courage testing. I answered a lot of those questions in 2008 when I ran then. But, you know, the media ignored me. A few radio stations, Mark and Brian had me on their AM station, and you people don't care. Look at my views. Nothing. It's almost as if somehow, some way, secretly, the government has a secret way of limiting my views on YouTube. And that's why nobody knows about me. And if I rant and rave a lot, and you think, well, this guy's too crazy, what if he goes wacko? I've never gone wacko. Anyway, it's the end of the recording, and I don't know what I'm going to do now. Wander some more. That's all I do, wander, because I don't have any support. How can I run for president when I've been reduced to this lifestyle by the city of Los Angeles and the county, and by the federal government as well?